Today on YouTube, I'm going to go back to basic to brilliant. We are going to take some very simple basic elements that everybody can draw, circles and squares and domes and sticks and triangles, and we're going to make the most gorgeous characters. You can do it. Everybody can do it. Yes, you that have not drawn in 100 billion years, we are going to draw something cool and funky today. Don't miss it. On YouTube, Kieron Seamons, basic to brilliant. Come and join me.
Welcome back, you basic to brilliant people. Right, today it's going to be in two sections. So today we will do the basic. This part I'll explain all the magic. This is all the nuts and bolts and bones and everything in a couple of minutes, okay? And this will be something that you can stop the video and go back and just practice through. And I'll give you a couple of very, very basic things to start with, and then I'll give you a few more kind of advanced stages on that basic, and then from that I will just go ahead and I will draw it in my style, and you can draw along with me in your style. Okay, you don't have to copy my style. My style is all messy and madness. Don't do that. You just draw it in your style, and we'll use these basics. All right. So even if you have not drawn before, you can do some of these basics, and one of the basics is a circle. And it does not need to be a perfect circle. If I wanted to be a perfect circle, I would get a jar lid and draw around it. But we don't want it to be perfect. Okay? So we're going to be using circles. And we're going to be using stick shapes like this. I'll just call it a stick, because I don't know what else to call it. A long rectangle. I don't know. We will be using some triangles, and we will be using some kind of dome shape like this. Okay. I can't really think of many other shapes that we will be using, but that is basically as much as you really need to know. We will be drawing some upside down triangles, which is basically the same as that. We will be drawing some smaller domes, which is basically the same as that. And we'll be drawing some long kind of egg-shaped circles, which is pretty much the same as that. That's basically all we need to do. And you know, again, we're starting out with basics. A lot of this type of stuff you can do while you're just sitting watching TV or listening to the radio, and you can sit and just practice drawing your circles round and round, round and round. Do a dome, do, you know, whatever. These are very, very, very basic shapes. And from that, we will be basically putting a circle, and we will be putting a face on it. Okay? We might even add a nose to it. Okay? So that's the absolute basic part here. So if there's any parts of this you're a little bit unsure about or you want to practice, you can stop the video here and you can go back and practice it. Okay? You can stop the video and go back as many times as you want. You're not in some kind of class or anything like that. So from those basics, well, you know, the basics are going to be there anyway for us to look at. We can always pull that back whenever you need it. And what we're going to try and explain from that is that we are going to try and explain variations of those shapes. Okay? Now, for example, if you do a circle, let's think about the character before we go too far, so it'll all be relevant. Let's do it as something like a simple, like a cat. Okay? Everybody kind of, well, not everybody, but cats are kind of a general light subject. So we are basically going to draw a round circle, and I'll do this in blue, so maybe I'll do it in a lighter pen, that'll be easier. And what we are trying to do with our proportions on this face is that we're trying to kind of mentally just give ourselves a guided line. Okay, the guided line will basically be from the the cross that we put down. You can do that in a very light pencil. I usually do it in a blue, but you won't be able to see the blue. And I will put a nose. And on one side of that line, I'll put an eye. And above that, you can put an eyebrow if you want. And if you want to get very technical, you could probably just say you put that off to a slight angle. But all we're doing is we're just copying that. Now that is, I think, quite a basic start. And we will draw a very big smile. Now, again, these are things you need to practice, doing these basic things. And the way that you can kind of add character to it or change all the rules that you've just learned there, well, we won't say rules because I don't really like that word. Advice, okay? And we'll change it to a longer head. A longer and a thinner head. And even if I was to do a very basic thing and just copy exactly that cross, if I was to draw my little man here, he looks a different person already. He looks like a completely different, it's like his best friend. Like you have Mr. Roundhead and Mr. Egghead. So the guidance here is that these lines here, these kind of general cross through the drawing, what they're doing is they are, if we have a combination of the shape of the head and wherever we decide to put this cross means that we can change that character into 1,000 characters. Okay? Even at this basic form. Okay? So what we will do is we will do a different man. We'll do a big head on him. And what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to raise this cross, the guidance of where my nose will be, and I'm going to put it a little bit higher up. Okay? Now, everything that we've done on this drawing and this drawing, we will copy onto this. And you can put these wherever you want. Okay? This is a guidance of putting his nose here. Now, let's say I want a slightly bigger nose than that, because this guy's got quite a big nose. So I'm going to put a big circle. And maybe he's got little eyes. And he's got a little bit of a serious eyebrow. And he doesn't really smile very often. Now, with dots and circles and a couple of little lines, we've basically come up with 3 characters. Now, the excitement that happens with that is that even if I was to draw one here, even a squeeze and a big long one here, and I did the complete opposite and I brought his nose all the way down there. Now what I've got is I've got another very different face. Can you see that? That all we have done is that we have changed the position of the cross and the size of the head. So, if we were to draw a cat, for example, a basic cat, and were to build it onto this structure that we've done here, these 4 elements that we've done, well, what about if we were to do a round head, and we were to give him some triangle ears? Sorry, I forgot my cross, just so that I can copy that. And I'm going to give him a little triangle nose. A little triangle nose. And I'm going to give him a little line down, and I'm going to give him a big smile. I'm going to put a little dot and his eyebrows. Let's go really wild and give him some kind of whiskery. So from our basic man who's built on a ball, and only a ball and a couple of lines, we've now created a cat. Now the same applies for that. If I was to draw a longer head, and I'm to put my cross in the middle like that, can you see that cross? It's basically the same as that. And I'm to put my cat's triangle nose and a line, and then a little smile, because he's got a little smile, and then little eyes, add some triangle ears, add some whiskers. Now we've basically got a cat version of that face, the man version and the cat version. And the only things that are really changing here is the triangle nose, the triangle ears, and these little whiskers. Otherwise, it's almost a man, right? Now we've gone from a very basic man to a cool cat. Just with the absolute basic. Now, his friend is a big fat cat, just like this one. And he's got a big head like this one. And he's got a line higher up, same as that one. Okay? And he's got a big nose, so we're going to give him a big triangle. And we're going to give him little eyes. And we're going to give him some not very happy eyebrows. I'm going to draw that line down. And we're going to give him a little straight mouth, just like that one. We're going to give him some triangle ears. Now we have his best friend. And his best friend is a fat cat with a big fat nose. And he's not a very happy cat. So just to go for the four friends, we'll go through it again. We'll give him a long head. We'll bring our nose right down the bottom. We'll put our cross in. We'll give him a little triangle nose with a little line and a little unhappy face. We'll give him some big eyes like that one. We'll give him some ears, some little triangle ears. And we'll give him some whiskers. 4 little lines. Now, what we have there is 4 men from our basic shapes. If you cover that, you got 4 men, 4 faces, and we've just transformed that by adding a triangle, adding a triangle, adding a triangle, and giving 4 little whiskers. So already we've kind of jumped that basic from a basic smiley face to a smiley cat face. Okay? So this is where we are going to be playing the game today. We are going to be drawing a group of cats, and we're going to just you and me, nobody else, just you and just me, and we're just going to draw some cats standing around. And each time you draw the cat, I want you to think about what size head he is. Now, if you've just drawn a big fat rounded cat like that, then maybe you want to draw a skinny cat standing next to him. And you want to change the cross to some different position. So that each time you're doing that, the cat will automatically look different. And automatically make you look great. It'll make you look brilliant. People will say, "Oh my God, did you draw that cat? You're brilliant." And you'll think, "Wow, wasn't I basic yesterday or 10 minutes ago?" So, something that I touched on the next stage of this variables is the expression. Now here he's very happy, and here he's not very happy, and here he's a little bit sad. Okay? So you can basically do the same thing that you've done there, and we don't need to do it for everyone, but you can draw a man, and you can make him happy like that. And you can draw another man, and you can make him very angry. And you can just change the expression. You don't even need the ball. If you think about it, you could draw some eyes like that, and you can practice this, and you can make a sad face. There's a sad face. We don't even need the head. So it could be a cat, it could be a man, it could be a horse, it could be an elephant, it could be anything. And I'm very serious about this. Okay, so you do want to change this, and you think, well, I don't want to draw cats today. Okay. You want to draw a happy elephant. Okay, so you basically have your circle. And what kind of nose does an elephant have? It's got quite a long nose, right? So you have a long nose of an elephant, like that. And then we add the rest of the face because the nose is not going to be the same. And you can add your eyes. And you can add your eyebrows. And you want a happy elephant? You draw a happy face. And you draw your round head. And you draw your big elephant ears. Give him a couple of little hairs. And he looks like an elephant. So you can basically use this method to draw any animal you want. You know, you could change him into a lion, or you could change him into an elephant or a monkey or anything that you want. And if you use this method of keeping everything very simple to begin with, and if you use this cross to show your different proportions from being high up, low down, in the middle, whatever you want, you can actually do some of those variables and you could change anything you want about your drawing. Okay? And this variables will be coming back to, like, for example, what I mentioned here about the body. This could be the body, this dome shape, and he could be quite a normal body. He could be a very short little body. He could be a very long skinny body. And it basically is the same shape, just with variation. Okay? Now that can go for the ears. You can do the ears a big triangle, a little triangle. The arms, you can do a little bit fat arms or longer arms or shorter arms. And it's all the variables of only those pieces. Now, I'm sure even if you have not drawn since you were at school, or you've never drawn before and you want to draw, surely this already is beginning to excite you. Surely it's beginning to make you so excited because it looks so basic. So this is what we are going to do today. We're going to draw a group of animals and we're going to use this method. And all I will change is the size of the head and the direction of this cross. But it's going to be high, it's going to be low, or whatever. Okay, so you're going to have variables of the shape and variables of the proportion or the position on the face. And that's most of our drawing today. Okay, so for example, if I can draw a basic shape here, that's a basic circle, and I will do a cross there. Okay, so I'm going to take this stage. Okay, I've gone from the man, I've learned that, I've gone to this basic cat. Now I'm going to go to this huge jump, and I'm going to draw it with this Sharpie. It's just a Sharpie, nothing else. And I'm going to try and draw a very cute little cat. That's my little triangle, and I'm going to draw that down, and I'm going to draw a big smile. Maybe I'm going to put a little triangle there for a tooth just to add some character. Add whatever you want, add anything that makes you excited. and I'm going to draw his little eyes, and that is basically that. It's the difference between drawing that and drawing one of those with that inside. You can put a little thing on there. So that's a variable of an eye. I'm going to draw another eye there, and I'm going to have that eye half closed. And I'm going to give him some little eyebrows. I'm just going to do little hairy eyebrows. And I'm going to give him a little tuft of hair just in between his ears, because I want my little cat to look a bit funny. Okay? And then I'm going to come down and I'm going to draw his ears. And I'm going to draw a little bit of detail on the ear. Okay? And I don't want just these little lines anymore. I want a big, big, fluffy cat. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go out and in, out and in, out and in, out and in. That's it. Right? It's almost like a triangle with the bottom, with no bottom on it. Out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in. And there we go. We join that line, and we have a cool cat. Okay? So we've gone from our man to our basic cat to a little bit more of an exotic cat. And that's working through these stages, working from a basic shape, working our variable size of the shape, and working with our cross to move position. Now you might say, well, that's okay, but you all draw different. Okay, well, my kind of cat is a little bit different, because there's my circle, and I kind of know, okay, well, we'll put the cross in there again, and I will draw this one, but in my style, and you can draw it in your style. It doesn't matter what style you draw it in, as long as you're happy with it. And I will kind of do my little cat, and I'll just do it the same as that. This paper might bleed a little bit with the ink, but this is not and I'll do some big eyes. I'll give him another big eye on that side. And I'll give him my little scruffy eyebrows. And that's exactly the same as this cat. Just trying a different method of drawing, a little different style on top. And you can do that. You can do your style. You can draw with pastels today. You can draw with color pencils. You can draw with ink. You can draw with pencil. You could draw in oil paints if you wanted. And we're going to do that all the way down. And we're going to do a nice big smile. And I'm going to give him a couple of teeth, because I think one tooth's not enough. And then I'm going to give him some hair. And I'm going to give him some ears. And you can see how I'm drawing it with my ink. And this is an ink pen, this is a dip pen. And there's no difference. Here I'm just doing a little bit more back and forward. Not just 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm kind of going 1, 2, 3, wiggle, 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 zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. And there we are. Now you can see how things have changed from being very, very basic to a mid cat to a kind of cool cat to a cool cat being drawn with a different pen. And I could draw the same cat with any pen at all. A brush pen. Okay, let's draw the same cat. I don't know if I can squeeze him in there. And we use a brush pen. And these are just regular old brush pens you buy in the shop. There's nothing special about them. These are very old, so It doesn't even have the name on it. Look, even if I turn it, it doesn't even have the name on it. But it's a basic brush pen. And I will draw his little nose and his little eyes. And I'll draw a big smile. And I'll draw some hair, some ears, and I'll draw some back and forward wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And we have another cat. We're drawn with a different pen. The trick here is it's all coming from this. It's all starting with this, then we practice with this, then we choose whatever pen we want, and we can draw any cat in any style. And if somebody doesn't like that, then we can draw the same cat using something like that. You can use a fat cat with a big nose, a skinny cat that's not very happy, as we've done here. And you can change that animal into a lion, a tiger. You could draw a dog. You could draw anything you want. You could draw foxes, all basically using this basic to brilliant method. Okay? So, that's the first part of this video. So, at this stage, we're going to go on and we're going to know those shapes. The head is a circle, whichever shape circle that we want, just a circle, or an egg, or a fat circle, or whatever. And the bodies are all going to be kind of dome shape, that type of dome, a squashed down dome, a skinny dome. All the bodies will be in that shape, whether we do a rough hairy line or we put a clothes on him. It will all be the base of that shape only. All the arms and legs will be sticks. Thin stick, thick stick, short stick, they will all be a stick. So if you look at my arm and you think, well, he's bent that arm, you just imagine a stick with a bend in it. And to show you what I mean, a stick, and his arm is bent. There is a stick. And then we put a hand on the end. And that is basically everything. Ears and nose will be triangles. So everything will be on the basic shape of a triangle. And that is pretty much it. The only slight variation to that is that we might put a coat on him, or put a stripy t-shirt on him, or whatever clothes you want. And you can go away and practice all your clothes drawing. How to draw a t-shirt, and then practice that before you add it onto this body. But today, and for today, that is what we're going to practice. Okay? So you can always stop it at this point and go back and watch it again as many times as you want. And if you feel good, then we'll go on to the next stage. I will not be drawing circles and domes and sticks under my characters. But when you see I draw a head like this, you will see exactly how I did it. You will know that under this is that. And under that is this understanding. Size of the circle and what direction is the cross. What position is that cross? And that will give us the proportions of the face. So every cat that I draw today will be that with that underneath. In my mind, I don't need to draw that. In my mind, I don't need to draw that. I will just draw this and I will have fun. So I would really, really love, and I welcome you very much to spend all day watching my video and drawing along with me. I'm not quite sure how long the video will be, but I'm just going to draw cats until I don't want to draw cats anymore. And you can see from what I've done from the basic to hopefully something that looks brilliant. I'm not sure, but it will look better than a ball with some lines on it. Okay? So, are you ready? Yes, you are ready. I can hear you're ready. I can hear you're desperate to go and do some brilliant stuff. So, if you get stuck, if you get lost, go back. Everything I'm drawing today has got these shapes underneath it. Okay? If you get lost, go back. If you feel confident and you're enjoying it, even if you make a mistake, just keep going. Nobody's going to be watching your side of things. They're only going to be watching what mistakes I make today. So we're just going to draw and we're going to have fun. So enjoy the next section. Thank you for coming in and sitting through this with me. I really appreciate your time. Okay? Are you ready? Let's go!